We are activating your unique self-discovery one show at a time. The Orchard of Wisdom Self-Discovery podcast are at your fingertips, just waiting to inspire and invite you in discovering just how awesome you really are and how to navigate through life in joy, enrichment, personal abundance, in mind, body, spirit, heart, and soul. All the people we bring you are here to serve you on your journey of life. Do enjoy our next show. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Building Your Business right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and all the way from Arizona, USA, is Paul Valach. We're going to be talking about a couple of frustrating things that could benefit you quite considerably today. And that is a LinkedIn newsletter and how to use Google Business. We've decided to throw in a bit of Zoom there too, but that's coming up later. Here is the new LinkedIn newsletter, how it works and how other social network apps. And in the end, your newsletter, how you are you publishing? There's a new title that decides what kind of photos and links and the list of your videos and all part of it. All these wonderful technologies that come and help us advance our productivity in business can be extremely frustrating because sometimes to the nerd, it really is easy. Just do this. To us, it's like, what? Where? How? And so sometimes we need some help along the way. And he comes from a family of educators. His dad was a professor, uncle Maestro, grandfather, a surgeon in the teaching hospital. He's an immigrant from Czechoslovakia. Yes, he escaped there a long time ago. He's taught a variety of colleges over the 20 years. He's had a TV show, radio show, and more. His focus has always been to show folks how to create things so they can succeed and make their prosperity happen. And with today's technology, it's easier than ever to make things work if you know how to do the techie stuff, which he does. So let's get right down to it. Wonderful technology out there. I have tried to register on Google Business, but unless I actually have a street front business, they don't recognize online businesses. So I couldn't go any further. There was no other option. So, it's wonderful to have these things, but the frustration is if you're not in the box, you don't fit. And that's one of the frustrating things that I find with a lot of technology. So let's dive in with the Google business. And does it really work? How different is it to everything else, Paul?
Well, so one of the frustration that you face, first of all, that was the street address was installed about 3 years ago when Google Business, and then the pandemic hit.
Mm-hmm.
And then many places, many of us we said, well, we're at home.
Right.
We went home. And some of us continue to provide our services because many of us worked out of co-working places or such. And so we had a street address. And now, of course, they went away. And so Google kind of relaxed that rule for a while. And they have reinstalled it.
I know.
Because Google's ultimate goal is to categorize and catalog anything, everybody, anywhere, anyhow, anyway. And so they want to know where you are.
Right.
At this point, I always say, I always wave to Dick Cheney up at the top, who's still watching us with his satellites and everything. And just ask Dick where I am. Dude, come on.
You have every other bit of information. You should know where I am by now.
That's right. AskDick.com, So they've kind of gone back to that, which is still bothered many of us because some of us who provide services, we figured, I always say, look, the first $1,000 that comes into my pocket, if it ever does in my month, needs to go to me, not some building or some place, Yeah. And many people are very service oriented, and I very rarely meet with anybody, even back in the co-working days of in that office. I would meet at their location, or we would just say, let's meet at the coffee shop.
Exactly.
On the corner. And many coffee shops actually were starting to be rebuilt or reorganized for that purpose. There was one in North Phoenix that when you walked in, there were computers everywhere, tables set up everywhere. There were groups that you knew. So I guess coffee klatches
Hmm.
that were all around, and that's where Miss. Oh, you need the graphic artist. Oh, that's so she's over there.
Yeah. Hmm.
And so and the coffee shop was kind of a, I think as long as you bought coffee and
Yeah.
you bought food and there was something in there so that they weren't renting out their space
Right.
free for
Yeah.
everybody. So you always said, hey, if you meet with me there, I have one rule. You gotta buy coffee.
Right.
You have to buy a sandwich. You have to
Mm.
buy something. I don't profit from that. I just need the owner net. So
Right.
so that was kind of set up, but today there's a people still are willing to meet, I think now a little bit more, but usually it's still in their place that I'll go and
Mm.
visit for their stuff, or you do this thing.
Yes.
You suffer through the Zoom meeting of
And
going,
all its
okay, is this
updating that
real?
doesn't work.
Right? Can I share my screen? Can you see this? Can you see that? So sometimes you're going, yeah, let's just meet at the coffee shop
Yeah. Yeah.
or someplace. But yeah, so Google kind of changed that a little bit. And the verification now used to be the postcard, which some people got, some people didn't. It got delayed. This now they've really expanded to calling you. So you need to have a phone number to doing a Zoom call to it's not just that postcard. So I tell people, I said, just tell them that you don't have this or that and let them verify you. And
So
so
you
the address
actually
is,
have to try and call them now or give them your number for them to call you? Because I
yeah,
find
they'll
trying to get hold of any human at the end of any
right, give them
technology
their
is.
somebody posted something the other day, and I can try to get it to you, or that is how to get a hold of tech support directly, good tech support at
Mm.
Amazon, Google, and Apple.
Ah, Apple,
Yeah, so
that's
the Apple
another thing.
people, I'm usually very good at getting to. It's the other
I
two
gave
that
up.
sometimes
I gave up on Apple. I just gave up on Apple.
is there a live voice there? Come on, I know there's a live voice.
No, no, I don't
I've
believe
heard
there
it.
is. I think it's all run by robots.
Yeah, well, that's a whole different show. That should be the part 3 show.
But it feels like that
But
sometimes, doesn't it? We're so up against the restrictiveness of technology that it's black or white, there's no gray. And then if you need to discuss somebody in the gray zone, trying to get hold of a human being, or if you do get hold of a human being, um, I've recently gone through something with a site where I would update a page, go to the next page to update it, and then it would freeze. It wouldn't update, wouldn't do a thing.
yeah,
Right. And so I call them again. That's 3 times I have got hold of them. 3 times, no, the problem is fixed. I'll go into a page, I'll fix it, go to the next page, not working. So that means I've got to set aside another hour or two to wait for them on the call, and then another hour going through another promise that it's going to
yeah,
work. Right. And it interferes with your productivity because you're wasting time on these
right.
technologies that everybody promises is going to work, but it seems that nobody communicates with each other, which is, I think, one of the main problems in the world today. We rely too much on technology for that without actually speaking to one another.
Right. And some of those verifications, I called up and I said, all right, it appears you were trying to update something. Yes. And then they ask you again, and then then they switch you over, and it's okay. So we need to, before we just send you there, we need to verify. Are you this? And you're going, okay, this is like the third time you
Yes.
verified me.
Yeah.
What part of the system isn't working
Right.
here?
Yeah.
And saying the word agent or customer service or something used to get you to the front of, you used to just bypass that. Apparently that doesn't work as easily anymore. Apparently
No.
those words are no longer the
Can you say
skipping to the
human?
first. Yeah, yeah. I should try that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
try that one.
So
All of
it's
these
yeah,
technologies are absolutely wonderful when they work. And, I know that Google has been trying to push their business. And so I've been trying to get on that. They keep coming to me saying there's nothing going on in your business. And because, they send me the emails to say I'm registered, but then I can't do anything because I couldn't get beyond that one stepping block. So it's really, really confusing. And, you know, for people who are like myself, a solopreneur or small business, which most
Hmm.
people are nowadays, right? The big conglomerates hire people to go and do all this headache stuff. And I'm sure they're tearing their hair out as well. But for us, you know, time is really important because and if we're wasting time on these things that are meant to be saving us time and bringing
Right.
in business, um, you know, most people will give up and go, it's just too much work. It's just too much frustration. So how do we get around it?
Yeah, and I've had people who tell me that. They said, "Look, I've tried to set up the Google business page. I tried to verify." I said, "Look, all I can tell you is to do this, and also, see, click on the other options. Um, but I don't have a shortcut way of short of that number, which sort of I haven't looked into here's the secret number, which if they sent it to me or I found it through some online article, it's no longer a big secret.
Right.
Um, you're right. You are kind of cut out of that,
Mm,
and that is a huge frustration. I'm not sure I have an answer for it. I really, other than that you just got to keep trying, or just start using the other methods. Google is a big player certainly, but the new LinkedIn with
mm,
since we're going to talk about that, the
yeah.
LinkedIn newsletter is not a bad resource for that, and also just participating in all the other various groups like the
Yes.
LinkedIn groups, because the newsletter does do some good for you, but you need to let people know other than your followers
Hmm.
that it works and that it exists, and you do that by joining the other groups, and just like Facebook, you have to join the other groups. And when I say join, I mean take part in it,
Participate. Hmm.
but don't make every post your 24.95 special.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, th this is
Because
actually what I
people
say
will.
with, you know, when you meet for coffee, you don't immediately go, and I've got this, buy it now. You know, you haven't even finished
Right,
your
right.
coffee yet or sipped your coffee yet, and you think the deal is done. No, it is the same principle goes, isn't it? Is
Yeah,
interact, you know, communicate. You know, nowadays kids talk to each other through texting and not speaking, and you know, when we're on LinkedIn, we're kind of doing the same type of thing, right? And so it is ask a question, support is what somebody has said. Sometimes it's just a like, sometimes it's an inquiry,
yeah,
sometimes it's a support. This is part of your networking. And if people see what kind of responses you are responding to, they're more invited to come and see what you're all about.
exactly. And you mentioned text. I was gonna look at my see what text I've missed since we've talked for the last 10 minutes here or so. And all these texts are, well, this is the special today. Here's the thing. And some of these I may have signed up for
Right.
because it may be at a restaurant or something,
Yeah.
and I just want to see what that. But all some of these others, you get this big long list of
Yeah.
this, and this, but nobody's really providing any hints, tips.
Right.
Here's the latest, and I
Purchase,
don't know.
purchase.
Yeah, they just want to do a purchase. Here's
Yeah.
the link to buy. And you're going, well, okay, how do I stop this? If I hit stop enough times, does it stop? And there's so many. I get calls on solar panels.
Mhm.
I
Yes.
get calls on my house, on a mortgage, this and this or that. And so now I just have the standard. Okay, hang on, I got to get my notes here. Okay, so you're number 58. I can give you the 58 names. I'm sorry, you're number 59 of all the people that promised to put solar panels on my roof. Are you going to be number 59 so tomorrow can be 60? And they're going, what? I'm going,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I guess, look, you're not the first person to try to sell me a
Yeah.
box of this.
Yes,
And
exactly.
so far, no. And the best part is no one's been able to deliver these boxes.
Right. Yes. That is in itself, I get on Facebook. Facebook and LinkedIn are the ones where I am interactive. I use Twitter to kind of post my shows. I use Pinterest to do that, but they're not conversation places.
Yeah.
So I interact on several groups in Facebook. I haven't found the group so easy to find on LinkedIn. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong place. But I do have a lot of people that I follow and I interact with, and that actually have sent people to me because of that. And so the conversations are on LinkedIn and on Facebook where I do the most. And I think choose a platform that you feel your tribe is at, where the same
Yeah.
interests are
Right.
at,
Right.
right? Or you feel that,
Yes.
maybe is your clientele. It isn't, I post my shows all the time and people know what I do. But if you're not interacting with people, or if people aren't commenting, and then you're commenting back, you don't know what the interaction is. You don't know what the comment is. But we've got to stop being so lazy. And I think we also have to understand it doesn't matter what business you've got. At least an hour a day needs to be put aside for the interaction on social medias like LinkedIn or Facebook, or maybe you're a Twitter fan, where you are interacting with people, because consider that part of your networking.
You're so true. You're so correct. I'm going. So why am I here? Wait, you already know this. You already know this. I was gonna say you can give my little speech for me. The it is, you need to set that time aside, and I'm not always good at it. I always say, look, sometimes I am the cobbler's kid's shoes, as the old saying says, that I can tell you exactly what to do, how to do it, but you want to see mine.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I
The
forgot I had an
example?
appointment. I
Yeah.
gotta go.
Yes.
It's but the hour a day, and I think one other thing that the people really want, almost an immediate response.
Yes.
And
But not
so
always
you
possible.
may need to do kind of check it 3 times a day, and remember that it's what, 2:30, almost 3 o'clock in New York, which I guess still runs the world. And and it's 11 o'clock in LA. And that's just US.
Yeah.
And yet we do work. I mean, I have a number of clients, number of people that I know pretty well now, thanks to a Happy Neighborhood
Mhm.
Project in Australia. I used to know some people in London. Well, it's 8 hours from
Mhm.
now today, so 8 at night in London. It's sometime tomorrow
But I think
in
that's where,
Australia.
look where this person is coming from. If you
Yeah,
see something and you're going to respond, well, if they're not going to get back to you in a day or so, probably the time zone. I have somebody I'm constantly responding with who is in Australia, but I know they're 17 hours ahead of me. Right.
yeah,
So when I'm responding to them, it's some hours way behind. And when I get to the social media, because it depends if I'm doing 2 shows a day and the editing and things like this, it's different times of the day. I do an hour in the morning and I try to do some more in the afternoon. Um, and I think that is, you bear in mind, you don't know where people are coming from. So when you're putting a post up there, really give it 3 or 4 days of checking or responding, or checking back on it, because people will react at different times,
yes.
according to where they are and what their schedule's like.
And there is, I think I posted something on I'm now trying to do my posts in LinkedIn, for instance, under my business.
Mhm.
Let the business do the post,
Yeah.
because what will happen is it'll ask you, once you're done, do you want this post added to your, to your regular
Hmm.
thing? And so you can say yes. So, okay. And then the good part about the LinkedIn newsletter is you can always refer to that post as
Right.
part of your newsletter. So you're kind of double dipping in a sense. But getting back to your point on the time, there's this magic 3-4 hours that I guess is the best time to post.
Hmm.
And you look at that and you're going, okay, that's fine, but I look at those, I'm saying, are they taking into account
Time zones.
time zones? Because
Yes.
if it's 1 o'clock is the best time, so like right now, well, but it's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in New York.
Yeah.
They're ready to go home.
Uh-huh.
And so it's almost like you're going, do I need to do this several times, or do I? So you start to pick and choose. You start to trying things out, because a number of times some of these apps and such can schedule for you.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to actually do it. You just set it up and it'll do it. But you start to figure out, okay, when is my best times? And you're right. When is my tribe on?
Yeah.
Because sometimes they'll say Mondays are lousy to do anything.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're going, well, that's when my tribe is up.
Yes. Exactly.
So,
And you'll know that from the people you interact with. You pay attention to the days that they're very interactive with, because that's actually the time of the days or whatever they've set aside to be responsive. I
right.
think this whole thing about people have got to get back to me within a certain period of time or I drop them. Get real. Get real and get readjusted. Because that is just rude. That you're demanding people get back to you at a certain period of time. Now, if I do have a show and somebody hasn't responded, I am up there reminding them whatever. I do want a response back because we have an appointment, right? So that is different.
I think I got one of those
Yeah,
emails.
exactly.
Where's your bio? Do you want me to make up a bio for you? Okay, here. Although I'm thinking, I don't know, you might have made up a good one for me.
Well, if I can get into someone's website and extract it, I do. So
Yeah.
it all
Well,
depends.
that's what Chat GPT is for, right? To just write me a bio form.
No, I like things personable. I mean, this is again another subject of, you see this advertising all AI wrote this. And I don't know that it was on one of the award shows, whether it was Golden Globes or one of the other awards, and one of the
That's
guys
right.
handing out the awards, and he read it as if an AI had written it, right? Which it
Right.
was, like no warmth to it, no flow to it, no continuity to it. If we have to get AI to write our things for us, we've lost our authenticity. I'm sorry, you've lost your authenticity. If you cannot spend the time to put out your blog, your content, then you are not representing who you really are. It's like when I am going to interview someone, I look at their site, I look at their content. They may have a great topic to talk about, but where's their representation? And that representation has got to match who they are. And a lot of
Yeah.
people will employ people to do the LinkedIn for them, to do their websites for them.
Yes.
And then I find this doesn't represent you in any shape or form.
Yeah, create content creation, because sometimes you get people who say, well, one of the services that I offer, that is to say, well, look, if I can show you how to do this, but if you don't have the time, we will do it for you. But I still need your content.
Exactly. Like with the show
You
things,
don't
I can't
want
make it
me
up.
making this up. If you
Yeah.
trust me, you're gonna go, do you really do this? Do what? Well, it's no. Well, I had to make something up.
Yeah. Did you jump
And
from, Air Force One,
that's it. That's it. Exactly. And the other part, and that this just occurred to me. Something you just said just occurred to me. Literally, I'm not brand new thought. Look out. You're taught when, like, newspaper people,
Mhm.
they write for a third or fifth grade education,
Yeah, yes.
because that's the audience, that's what somebody said. Well, certainly for a newspaper you would write higher. No, that the audience that's reading it, that's you. Yeah,
Nowadays, yes,
you know.
yes.
But how do you tell? Can you tell AI? Can you tell one of these places? Look, while I want you to write an article, I need this article written at a master's level, at a
Hmm.
academic level, at a first grade level.
Yeah.
No 3 word syllable, no 3 syllable words are
Uh-huh.
only limit. Because you're right. It's you read it and you're going, yeah, this sounds very interesting, but damn, how did Paul write that?
Yeah,
Or
yeah. Yeah, well,
how did Sally write that?
we are our business. I don't care what you do. If I don't buy you, I'm not going to buy anything from you. So somewhere along
Correct.
the line, whether it's your site, whether it's your post, whether it's your newsletter, if it does not represent who you are and what your mission, what your purpose is, then there is a disconnect. And then when that disconnect is there, people, well, I'm not sure I can trust them. I don't know why, but because the information One thing says this, another says that. And then immediately there's a distrust in there. So you have always got to be you yourself. And if people buy who you are as a character, as a personality, then they're interested in what you are offering. And now they really want to go, okay, no, I really like you. Go, can you help me with this? And that now the conversation can really start. But we've had enough of fake. We've been faked to death for a number of years now, right? And what we are needing is authenticity. And if you cannot represent yourself authentically, somebody is going to go somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know where you hear this a lot, or where you see some of this, is when these big, whether it's a politician or somebody's up making a speech.
Yeah.
And they do this grandiose speech and so forth, or this. And then you go to the fundraiser, or you go to the post party or this, and you're talking with them and you're going, wow, you're kind of just like, man, it's almost like there's a different persona that when you're on stage, you're like, okay, I really have to sound intelligent here.
Yeah.
And you kind of do a little bit of a twist. Yes, I'm talking about you. For
those that are listening, there's a wonderful pooch in the picture here that wants to get in on the
this
act.
Is my assistant. For those of you watching, this is Ariel, who's always wondering, who in the world are you talking to now? And can I be on camera? You're going to be famous worldwide. She has her own Instagram page. There you go. So she's used to some famous things. All right, go watch TV. Go watch TV. The camera crew is revolting here. All right, there we go. All right. Anyway, so it is almost where you speak, because sometimes people say, well, what's the audience level?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you do want to just, that where some people just say, look, I need to hear more academic, more profound thing, and so you sometimes need to adjust it to that tribe that you're visiting.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say probably my shows, I have a lot of people that are highly educated and could use words that I have no understanding of. But, I always say it's layman terms. We were talking to the general audience here, all those that are interested in the subject. And if we want them to be engaged, we don't want them to have a degree to understand what you're talking about. So, and that is, I think, actually where podcasting has changed a lot, even socializing on LinkedIn or anywhere else, where people that are used to talking amongst academics are realizing that if they're wanting a general audience to understand what they're saying, that they have to adjust the words. And it's not dumbing it down. It's that not everybody has a degree to understand the words or references you're using. So use it in a way that the general population can actually understand what it is you're talking about.
Right. And I think also using some having example ready that will just saying, all right, let me simplify this even further. These are the three things. Everybody knows what they are. Mm-hmm. Well, this is that, this is that. And now you understand this big complex thing because, well, it's just like these three things, except that
you've painted a picture. You've painted a picture that people can see. Yeah. And so that comprehension, but also that invitation is there.
Right.
Now, I'm always saying that inspiration begets invitation. When you're inspired by something, you're invited. You're invited to participate or to use it or want to integrate it. If that inspiration isn't there, the invitation isn't there. So, whoever you are and whatever, and I interview an awful lot of people that are, talking science, which of course I wouldn't understand at all on the scientific level, but we talk about what it does for mankind, how we benefit from it. And I think when people are writing their newsletters, there's a few things, kind of codes of conduct that they need to put out, right? You're putting out what's coming up in your business or what's coming up in this and that, but don't put it up as a sales pitch, right? Mm-hmm. Put it up as again, that inspiration of the why whatever it is you're promoting is going out there, whom it's for, how it benefits them, and put it out as an invitation and not a dictation.
Yeah. Right. And I think that the speakers that we have whenever there's these guest speakers, headline, monthly
Yeah,
things, there's ones that you're just going, all right, and I can't wait for him to come back. I can't
yeah.
wait for her to come back or that, because that was really a thought-provoking,
Hmm.
type of
They
thing. And
switched
there's
my
people that,
lights on. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And you're kind of going, wow, what can we have them back again? That was
Mm,
good. And then people ask me, well, who should we have?
mm,
Yeah, have that gal that was, 3 months ago with that
mm.
stuff that she talked about. It was good. I felt, you're kind of going, wow. Well, it's like I'm not sure there's any bad TED Talks, but there's certainly ones that are awesome.
Yes, yeah. I think it's the ones, there's a big word that in business that may have got left out, and that is engagement.
Hmm.
We want to be engaged, so we want you to be engaging. We don't want you
Oh,
to
yeah.
talk at us. We want you to talk kind of with us, where we feel that we are communicating back in our heads to you. Right. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh
Right.
yeah, yeah. There. Got a point there. The dialogue is going on in your head. You're feeling engaged, and then again,
Yeah.
with your postings, with your newsletter, with your Google business, whatever way you're doing, it is about the engagement, isn't it?
It is, and I was gonna say, and then when they ask a question,
Hmm.
or that, this is where we go back to that
Yeah,
what we talked when we started. You need to reply to them. You need
yeah,
to say, hey, yes, very, and not just yes, thank you, that's a great point.
yeah,
Copy a little bit of what they said. If they say, yeah, that's a good point, but because I said, maybe even take it a little further, because now they're thinking like, oh, this person actually read my comment,
yes,
not just say, hey, thanks for the comment, yes,
yeah.
thank you, or this, that, and now you're able to have a better conversation, because a lot of times today's world conversations don't happen as easily,
No, I
I
call
think.
them. We've become headliners. We watch
Hmm.
the headlines or the first couple of lines and think we know the whole content or the whole context of the content, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
respond to that. And it is without, again, reading the whole thing. And like very often when I'm reading something, I'll take the third or fourth paragraph and respond to that. Right?
Hmm.
'Cause that's what I'm responding to in that paragraph. Maybe it's what's kind of really hit me, but at the same time, it's kind of letting the author know that I've actually read through.
Yes, yeah, 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 yeah. Now that, not just the first two sentences,
Yeah.
and that sometimes, I know some people who play games with that. They'll write that little intro. The rest of the rest of the stuff has nothing to do
Oh, I get that from publicists all the time.
with those first three. They just
Yeah.
want to see that you actually, it's almost like, look, those of you who responded red feather to my email, thank you very much. I see you read the article, because somewhere in there it said, send me an email with red feather in it, and I'll give you
Right.
this and
Yeah.
that, or some little
Yes.
tidbit. And people just go, what are you talking? Did
Yeah.
you read the article?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like, where's my
Obviously
red
not.
feather?
Right. But the other day I get publicists sending me people all the time. And sometimes, I've got a couple of publicists that really know my style. They send me absolutely great people. But I'll get some publicists and they've got this huge headline that's kind of in the news at the moment. And then I read, about the person, and I go to the person's site and I go, what's this got to do with the headline? Right? It's, you're trying to hook me in with some sensationalism, but there's no content, or there's no person here to back that up. And so again, representation is so very important on your social media, isn't it? Because don't misrepresent who you are or what you're offering.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's sometimes hard to work on, because you're
Mm,
you're you're pushed, pulled in every
yeah.
direction, and it's like, well, don't I have a publicist for this? Oh wait, I am my publicist.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
darn it, I need one of those. I
Yeah.
need somebody to keep me into trouble or get me into more trouble. One of those.
I mean, and that's when you're choosing a publicist. Please make sure that they are actually engaged with who you are and what you're doing. So, as I
Yeah.
said, I've got some publicists that when they send me the content of the person, I simply can cut and paste, put it into my posting, and all I needed the links and the headshot, and I'm done. I don't need to go anywhere or send anything because they've already sent me beautiful content already written out. And I see that person, and that person is the person I'm going to interview, right?
Yeah.
So it's really important when we put stuff out, when we're representing, that you have a publicist that gets you, that gets
Right.
who you are, what you're representing, so they can represent you authentically.
Yes, yes. And it's and you know, it's hard to also see all the various avenues where you can be represented, or where your talk is that, because you can, you know, you can Google anything, and hopefully the list you come back, and some of those lists aren't even that great, or some
Yeah.
of the places that come up, that even come up first, and I was always fond of, and Google's kind of done away with that first page thing, because you can now have continuous. I used to like to almost start on page 3 just to see what was the result, and
Right.
see who's on page 3, not necessarily page 1 or even 2, because
Right.
one, a lot of it was this stuff, the
Yes,
pay,
exactly.
you know, you in essence that, and it's like, yeah, I want to see the cool stuff, the things that, you know,
You,
may
you,
not be
you got there on your own merit. You didn't buy it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And sometimes you're going, wow, yeah, this is what I want, this is who I want to find out from, this is who I want to buy from.
exactly.
And so, you know, you get into that argument of what's, you know, is where's rank, you know, you get into ranking and
Yeah.
into mention, and the whole thing is also, well, how many times was your article reposted? You know, that's the other part. Or you know, is your newsletter being shared? Is and you get into that a little bit of, you know, please, and I, you know, I think what a lot of people don't often do, and I'm guilty of it probably too, is asking someone to share your article, share your post. Look,
Yeah.
I just, you know, I just like you to share it with your friends. I
Right.
don't need your friends to buy anything
Right.
from me. I'm not, it's not a pay for it. It's just share it and see what happens.
Yeah. Well,
If
that's
they
called
tell
being
you,
supportive of each other.
yeah,
You know, everybody's got a living to make, all right? But, you know, if we
right,
could start looking at each other as a community, that community is only as strong as everybody's participation and support, all right?
yeah,
It's really important that we support somebody else. I mean, they may be doing the same thing you're doing, but they probably have a different type of clientele than you, or they do it slightly differently to you. They're not in competition with you. So you get a client that comes along, you go, you know, you're not really a good fit for me, but you're a great fit for someone else. And
mhm,
that's what I think, where we, you know, referral and support and celebration, and you know, even those times when things go dark, you know, being there for someone. Um, the more and more we use technology, the more and more we're becoming disconnected, you know, to the heart of each other. And I think we can engage that heart of each other through technology. It's not one or the other.
yeah. And I think the word, and I, you know, I've said this many times, I dislike the word is, and that's niche,
Yes.
whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it. Because you're going, well, do I have a niche? Not really. I don't
Get
just
asked
do
all the time. Yeah.
plumbers or this,
Yeah,
or just
exactly.
do hairdressers, or
Yeah,
I just go, look, the social media kind of serves everybody.
it does.
But at times you're going, if I did, I'd say, all right, well, if I'm the guy for plumbers and plumbing and all that wonderful pipe stuff. Okay, so I now recognize what my tribe is looking for, but you might say, well, you know, but these people look for this. I'm pretty sure that this probably is looked for by the
X, Y, and Z
by the
people.
restaurant,
Yeah.
by the carpet cleaner, by the auto mechanic that I'm thinking of, some, you know, and so there's become some commonality,
hmm
and
You
I
don't
think
have to just
everybody in
stay
the
in
end,
your lane, you know?
yeah,
The highway has a lot
and
of
but
turnoffs.
it is. There's, yeah, and well, that's always my favorite thing on the Google business page, saying, look, it is a parking lot, but it isn't a parking lot.
Mm.
You got to give people directions to it. You do
Yes.
that by posting stuff to it. People, oh, I didn't know you could post to a Google
I
business.
I didn't know either.
Well, you do. And again, you don't need to post a 24.95
Right.
thing. You
Mm.
can post specials, but just post an idea.
Yeah.
3 photos, because Google, when it sees those posts, it says, "Oh, you exist.
Mm.
You're alive." And so now all those other games that you play with all the keywords and this and this and that, they're going, "Oh, well, maybe we should throw them a bone sometime. Maybe we should put them up."
Yeah.
But it is a providing the solution. I think most people just want to know. Listen, how do I get the stain out of this?
Yeah.
Or where's the best taco?
Right. Yeah, and I always say I've got 18 different genres. So, what's your genre? Well, there's 18 of them. But basically, if you want to know the common denominator, it's people who come from the heart, right? People with heart intentions. They're whatever they're sharing for the embetterment of someone else. And if that's
There you
what
go.
your goal is, whether you're an author or you've just got a tip to share, or whether you're a business or wellness or veterans or music or whatever, does it come from the heart? And that's all that I need to know, right? So
Right.
because there's enough hate rhetoric out there, we don't need to feed that at all. Social media or any form of media, actually anything online is an algorithm. And in many ways we are too. Right? We're drawn to
Right.
people of the same type of rhythm. And what we put out is what we're going to get back. And you'll have people say all the time, but no, if I post it, I don't want to get somebody's recipes or somebody's hate thing. And it's again, what you feed is what will grow. So if you put out positive affirmations and you get somebody negative coming along, you can just say, I'm sorry, I don't tolerate this type of hate rhetoric, and you
Right.
can delete them, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And there's somebody said, look, if you don't like it, just delete it,
Yeah,
or stop following. And if
yeah,
they persist, then they get the spam folder, or they
yes.
get they'll get marked up. And eventually some of the places that they do guard on this, they going, hey, this is spam, and we're going to block your email, or we will
Mm-hmm.
block this. And many people, they don't want that to happen,
Mm-hmm.
because once your emails are blocked, then
Yeah, yeah. There's another
you're
huge thing I think that people need to understand too. There are dating sites on social media. LinkedIn and Facebook General is not a dating site. All right. I get proposals all the time.
do you?
I
Wow.
do. They're all the same type of template. Ginny, a widower with a kid, or somebody in the military, right? And I always say to people, please, before you friend someone, this is why buying friends is not a
Yeah.
good idea. Um, Before you friend someone, look at their profile. If it's pictures only of them,
Yes.
or if content isn't there where you feel that, they're not engaged, or there's nothing in the about, it's very important that if you are a legitimate person, you put something in the about. If there's
Hmm.
nothing there, I'm not going to friend you because this is how you get hacked.
Yes. Very true. Very true. Great signs. Yes. And I like the ones which just have the images, the 3 images, and you're going, okay, what? Come on,
Yeah,
did somebody really not have
yeah,
5 minutes to add something, or to put
yeah.
just text, or
Or it's just images of them, and I go, well, no, sorry, there's enough narcissism in the world. I don't need to,
yeah,
to
yeah.
engage
Or
that
they
one.
seem to be the same. They seem to be the same thing. So
Yeah.
you mentioned the word algorithm.
Yes.
Yes, so where that comes from, right? What who's
Yep.
responsible for that word. I
Okay.
found this. Okay, so do you know who invented the internet?
Um, um, the poor guy they persecuted because he was gay. Um,
Well, I don't, people say Tim Berners-Lee, or somebody's, no, come on, Al Gore. Al Gore invented the internet.
he did?
Al Gore, everybody knows that. Al
Does he?
Gore invented the internet. That was Al wasn't that anyway. But and and that's where the algorithm comes from, because that's the
Oh,
other part
okay.
that
I
came
didn't know
from.
that.
Sorry,
I
that was
didn't
a
know
big
he
long
invented
that
the
was a big
internet.
long lead into that. But I,
Right.
I
Oh,
heard that the
that's something
algorithm
new.
is thanks to Al Gore. So see, now you have two things from
You're
today.
right. Yeah. No, I never would have put him. I've always put him with, vice presidency and
You did
environmentalism.
that a little before. You did a few years before that, and somewhere. And now everybody said, okay, now that was nice. And then you turn it out there and switch the channel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it is playing the algorithm rule. It is on, and Google's real good. They all do it,
Yes.
and they all change the rules. That's why I said I was the expert in all of these 3 days ago,
Right. When
2
Zoom
days ago.
decided to change its
I had
algorithms.
no idea what happened in the last 30 minutes.
And that's one of the things is that these technology platforms will change things. We're updating, and suddenly everything is, where the hell is this? Where the hell is that? Why isn't that working? And
Mhm.
the thing is, I know it's damn hard to reach out to them, but even if you go out on social media, this new platform sucks. Right? It's going to get back to them. And if they have enough people say, I'm having difficulty with this or difficulty with that, they know they've got to change it because they're losing their clientele.
Yeah, and that may be the old hey, everybody, on the radio people say everybody needs to call 1-800, here's the number,
Yeah.
this to
Complain.
wherever,
Yeah.
to the bake shop, to this and this, and say, hey, what's up with this
Yeah.
flavor? And if their phone rings a couple of hundred times in the middle of the day, they're going to go,
Oh,
oh,
something's wrong here. Hmm.
well, we don't have that here.
No.
And so that's the with that, and I don't know if but if enough emails, if enough comments, they
Yeah.
do get to those comments. They will,
Yeah.
especially if enough
Eventually.
people
Yes.
post it and stuff. So
Yes. Especially if it makes, the 5 o'clock news.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, I know a number of news people, and still today, all of these TV stations, all your local TV stations, they are starving for
Mm.
content.
Yes.
They're tired of putting the same fire hydrant
Mm.
on Wednesdays, or the same things. They are starving for content, especially good content,
Hmm.
especially
Hmm.
something that can stir the pot a little bit. But even a good news, something. So, I would strongly suggest to anybody from anywhere, if something's up, get a hold of your local TV
Yes.
station, and that, or even your local radio station. I think the TV station's probably the better deal, because most of the TV stations just really, I'm sorry, radio stations still just play the music, or and such. But they still have the stuff in the middle where the
Yeah.
DJs talk about this, and
Yeah.
this. And if you send it to them, they'll go, hey, I got this in my feed. It's really odd. And
Hmm.
this, and if they feed that across and it's the right person saying that,
Yeah.
tomorrow the next guy is going to say that, next gal's going to
Yeah.
say that, next DJ this and that, and so
It grows. It grows.
it grows.
I mean, I say that Fox News likes to take a pimple and make it into a volcanic eruption, right?
Yes, they do.
And the thing is, um, media has got to a place where we don't trust it anymore because
No.
it's been so sensationalized. And this is why I think more and more people are turning to the social medias to have these conversations and to learn their news and have people talk about things, because we see something on the news, and even if it's another shooting or it's another this, and it's dramatized. And it's rather like the medical industry, great at fixing something that's broken, but they never get down to the root cause. And
Yeah.
people are very tired of the same old sensational news. It's like, let me know when you've got a solution. Let me know when you're going to be
Yeah.
proactive on that solution. And I think we're looking for that in our social medias as well. There isn't anybody on this planet that hasn't been affected by the last few years in some way or the other, or isn't struggling in their business, or isn't struggling just in their life. And they're turning to social media to try and find people with solutions or people that are supportive. And we're not going to get it from the government. We're not going to get it from the big corporations. We're going to get it from us as a community. So
Yeah.
again, the responsibility of what we put out, what we feed, what we respond to. And if you have got a solution, don't say, oh, you've got to do this. Please never tell anybody, you've got to do this. You can say, how about you give this a look and see if it's a fit for you, or see if it's something that can help you. Because people are being tired of, you've got to, right? We want a
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah. No, one of my I spend a lot of time on my iPhone through it's an app called Flipboard. It lets you aggregate news.
Mm.
It lets you aggregate your feeds or the topic, because you'll start getting feeds. You're going, oh, then you start making your own,
Of ones you're
because you want
interested
to
in.
group them together. So I have one for the woofers. Anytime there's a woofer story or that, but I also have stuff that's just LinkedIn. Anything related to LinkedIn. I just kind of, it's my own little group aggregator.
Right.
And then I can put those articles out and saying, hey, I found this.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go.
Right.
I found this. Here you go. And because the evening news and all, they don't do a whole lot of business advice. They don't do a
No,
whole
not
lot
at
of
all.
it's it's really taken up a lot of all the sensationalism, but even some of the side stories,
Mm.
there isn't a whole lot to take away. And while I guess the news is to tell you about this or the grand opening of that, there's no good thought,
It's
good
telling you
thing.
what's going on, like, well, we're
Yeah,
in a recession, we're this and that. And it's like, well, what do we do about it? How do we
exactly.
pivot our business? How do we
Yes.
survive through this recession? What is needed out there,
Yeah.
that I can supply? So, yeah, those are the questions, but that is where social media has become the platform to answer that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember there was a few people way back that would have a program or something would come on. I know Sundays is a great time where these people come and do their little financial things. It's a paid for program. So, you too can have one if
Mm-hmm.
you come up with the money, and you too can be on for the 30 minutes. But there doesn't seem to be a comprehensive of, okay, we're going to cover these
Yeah.
four topics. Each is a little snippet of things. It's not it's not necessarily the solution, but it might be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something for you to take a look at
Well, I mean, it's the reason why I do the podcasting
and
is
try it
because
out.
I get people like yourself on who, have you're immersed in what you do, so you know how to navigate through it, and you share the navigation, or you help people through that are struggling with it. This community, the self-discovery community, is about sharing the wisdom. And when we, share that wisdom, because just about everybody I interview has gone through it. Whatever they're promoting, whatever they're sharing, they've gone through it. And because they've gone through the process, they know the struggles, they know the ins and outs. It's relatable to you if that's what you're going through. And they're sharing their solutions. And again, that inspiration begets invitation. When we're inspired by their journey, it invites us to believe we can take our journey and we can also achieve, right?
Yeah.
So that's what's so important about the work that is done. And like, LinkedIn, I didn't used to like it. And then they changed and it became more friendly and more engaging, and less
Mm-hmm.
like a classified and more engagement. And I'm
Yeah.
not on premium. I have enough things to spend the money on, so I'm not on that. But I still do find I've interviewed an awful lot of people just through the conversations of liking somebody's post, or conversing with them, or them conversing with one of my posts. And that, again, interaction. And so even if you're putting out a newsletter, yes, you're announcing something, but please make it invitational. It's not
Right.
blah, 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 blah. It's like, why are you doing it? Because that's going to be the relatability for someone to want to look at how you're doing it or where you're doing it.
Yeah. And I think LinkedIn used to be much more business. I don't have the pro version either. I did for a while, and then I ended up canceling it. It seemed like the main reason to have a pro version is if you're looking for work,
Hmm.
or you want the job alerts, or the to see who all is actually looking at your thing.
Right.
You get a little more
Yes.
details on who's looking at you.
I don't want
Okay,
people to
I
look
get.
at me. I want people to engage with me.
Yeah,
If you
and
looked at
if
me and you
they,
wanted, then just engage.
yeah, disengage and stuff, because I'll click on your thing and see your profile
Yep.
and such.
And then
So
message someone.
I have way too many. I made a kind of in 2023 to get rid of a bunch of $20, $30 a month
Yes.
subscription
Yes.
and such, and saying really start to be picky, or at least saying, okay, I'm going to move this 30 and I'm going to try this one instead.
Yeah.
And others I'm just dumping and all, and in the end,
But it really, again, kind of put your money, if your money is going to go somewhere where you feel that you really are proactive and that is proactive with you. Um, we get kind of pushed to, I get all the time people, I can put you as the number one CEO, and I again, that's paid for me to be put up there. I want to be put up there by merit. I want to be put
right,
up there through engagement because I did the Facebook advertising one time, and like I had on that one particular thing 500 people who kind of liked it, but well, there wasn't one engagement.
right,
Right.
right,
So, yeah, it may take longer. I'm a plodder. I've learned to be a plodder. Didn't used to be, but I've learned to be a plodder. And it literally is one show at a time, one post at a time. And I'd rather have less people who are really engaged than a lot of numbers that really are not people that are ever going to interact with you.
yeah. Well, it's all those, you get this following that people say,
Mm.
well, they've got 1 million followers.
Look at you do.
Okay.
Yep.
Um, can they
How many
each,
engaged?
okay, can they each send me a nickel? Can they each send me
Yeah.
a dime?
A
Send me a
cent and
dollar
a
would be
million.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, send me a dollar would be nice, but how about, can they send me a quarter?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
and you don't know where some of these numbers are pretty astronomical,
Yeah.
of 10 million followers, and you're going, well, wait a minute, how many people are actually even in the US?
Yeah.
What's our population today?
Yeah.
Where's, and you're going, these numbers are just a little, I don't
Well,
know, seem,
yeah.
and of course there's the fake followers, and
Yeah.
I have a guy, a friend of mine who's popular and such, and even he said, look, we did a study on this. We did a little survey of sorts. We did almost like a respond with this,
Yeah.
and we'll send you this. We'll send you our free book. It's worth $10.
Yeah.
He had like, a very small number
Yes.
that actually responded. And based on that big number, it's almost like people signing up for events today. It's still true as we move on that, 1,000 people will sign up.
Hmm. 10
700
people
will
will.
con-
Yeah. Yeah.
700 will confirm. 500 day before, yeah, I'll be there. You show up at the event, you're right. There's 10
10
people, and then
people
the
there.
first two
Yeah.
rows are there. You're going, how do we get to 12 from this
Yeah.
1,000?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
and
it's like,
that's the numbers game, isn't it? I mean, life, people will sign up to things and then just, life will happen, or they've just signed up without kind of paying attention. Um, and I think that again is back to the authenticity of how you engaged. If you're going to go to something, go to it, or let them know you're not going to it.
yeah, yeah. And I try to do
Courtesy,
the same thing.
courtesy.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. And I try now when I'm signing up for things to going, okay, am I going to go this, or am I just trying to help a friend by increasing their numbers of
yeah,
attendees with one, because I don't want to then have to email and say, yeah, I'm not coming. I'd rather just not sign up, just going, okay.
yeah. I've got a workshop coming up that's going to be online, and I'm looking maximum 10 people, 6 people. Just for it's more intimate, it's more, make it more fun. It isn't about the loads of people. I've never been a person that wants to stand up in front of a ginormous amount of people. I've always preferred the intimacy of interaction of smaller amounts of people. And I think that's an art that we're losing because we're chasing numbers all the time. But numbers do not transcribe into business.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to it is a hard to do that. I have to agree that and and there's other people I know, which again is part of the numbers game, is that they'll sign up for something, but they don't ever do anything with it or
Right.
that. And I guess if they're paying me each month, it's one of those, well, why am I complaining
Right.
that I'm getting
If you
again
do, yeah,
24.95 from them every month and they don't want anything from me
but they haven't
and they
cancelled.
don't
Hmm.
bother me or anything. It's like,
Yeah.
well, okay, they're handing me a $25 bill.
Yeah.
But at some point, I feel like, okay, I feel guilty about
Yes.
taking this from you. Do you even know that you're doing this? Or is this
Yeah.
been something that you signed up for,
And not paying
way back?
attention to your bank balance, your bank thingy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So,
There's a lot to be mindful of, isn't there? Like this world of of the internet, of Google Business, of the LinkedIn newsletters. There's a lot of benefit that can come out of it if you use it appropriately and if you use it wisely. Um, I have the Google Business thing there. They say, oh, you've got no followers. When is this? Well, because I have a roadblock. I can't seem to go any further. I can't set anything up. So you go somewhere else, right? And there's so many other platforms. There's Alignable, which I'm on. Then there's various other platforms, and it's like go to the platforms where you really do feel you're building a community. And like as you said, the LinkedIn with the groups. When I post something, it will come, do you want this posted on this group? And sometimes it's appropriate to go on that group. No, it's not appropriate to go on that group. And and also make sure when you are posting something that it's applicable to the type of group it is, not just a general thing, right?
yes, yes. No, and that's great that you say that because so many number of these groups that I'm in, you get the person that's always posting about this, and you're
Yeah,
going, this doesn't have anything to
to
do
do. Yeah,
with this thing. So this is almost a form of spam. And you go, and if everybody does that, now the stream is polluted with all the other sales pitches that you're getting in all the other groups. And you're going, no, this group is formed because we want to talk about
yeah,
this.
exactly. So know who, again, it's not your niche, it's know who your audience is. Is this content that you're wanting to post? Is this the right audience for it? Right?
Yeah.
And if you feel, I don't know, then post something and say, I don't know, is this anything in this group that you'd be interested in?
Mm-hmm.
Inquire, don't assume.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that I'm looking at this next week is the newsletter, because it's such a broad thing, is to have certain days cover certain topics
Right.
or genres or whatever.
Yeah.
In this way, this genre will fit really great in this discussion.
Yeah.
These other four, they won't fit here,
Right.
but this one will, and this one will. So that also expands your reach because people are much more accepting to take your rants on one thing
Yeah.
if it applies, as opposed to if you just throw this in there, they're going, well, what is this? Well, the third item has something to do with you. Yeah, but the other
Yeah.
4 or 5 don't.
Right.
So
Exactly. So know where you are posting. And so with LinkedIn, you could do a newsletter a day.
you can do one a day. So the trick here is, and I'm and I'm my worst enemy on this, but it's a 24-hour cycle.
So
And as
it's,
in an exact 24-hour cycle.
mm,
So if you're neglectful in sending it out and you don't send it out until 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., and tomorrow you're going, oh, I'm going to get on top of this. Yeah, but you can only post the new one after 8 or 9 a.m., whatever that is. So you need to kind of somehow get into that cycle of, okay, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to make up at 6 a.m., which means I've already got it ready. I can just click on post, and tomorrow I won't be fighting it's 1:15 today. If I post it now, that means I can't post until tomorrow at 1:15. So am I better off waiting? I skip a day. So you need to play publisher. You need
Right.
to play the evil publisher saying, "Hey, there's a deadline for your news story."
Right. And
That's me. Oh,
so obviously if it's something you're promoting, you could repost the same one again for a few days, just every
sure.
24 hours, right?
Well, you just can't post. You cannot create a new newsletter any earlier
Right.
than the 24 hours when you post the last one. The post you can still do. The post
Right.
you can do as many as you want, but that newsletter has that 24-hour. You can't hit somebody with three newsletters.
Right,
Because I
exactly.
wanted
Right.
to do that once. I said, "Hey, I just want to create a quick, flash journey, flash editorial rush." And it said, "Yeah, no, we're not letting you publish. You have to wait. You have to wait 7 hours. Or you have to wait." And I'm
Right.
going, "Oh."
So know your time thing, right? So
So know
so
your
it
time
doesn't
thing.
have a schedule thing on it.
Yeah, it just it gives you it's very awkward because it says we're having a problem posting, or there it gives you
Uh,
some, what's the word, innocuous word of the day. It's just, why don't you just tell me that I have to wait 24 hours? Why are you making me
yeah.
figure this out? Or if is there something missing? Didn't I
Uh-huh.
give it a title? Did I not do
Right.
this? You just tell me I haven't, my clock is not my clock is still running.
Right.
So
So they haven't
um
got there yet, so we've got to pay attention. So kind of put it down in your calendar, post it to links into a newsletter at this time so you know that it's going to be
yeah.
expired by the next time. Where do you find it on LinkedIn? Where do you find the newsletter thing?
So you have to, first of all, you have to turn your what's it called, the creator. You have to be in create. You have to turn your creator mode on, and that's on the left side of the screen. And once you turn the creator mode on, it gives you, it'll ask you, to want to create it, and you'll have to fill in the initial part of the name of your newsletter, how often you want to publish. Now you have a choice: daily, weekly, monthly. I just said, I'm crazy, I'm just going to do daily.
Hmm.
And they said, it doesn't really matter. They won't punish you if you don't miss, if you don't do it
Right.
every day, but it kind of gives them an idea. And then when your home screen comes up, there's a little red thing that says write article. And when you click on that, you then have a choice of whether you want to do a newsletter or just a post.
Right.
And once you choose the newsletter, it kind of gives you this little outline thing. It's, I guess, another word of the day. It's a little kludgy, because you can put, you put your graphic in of your masthead, and then you've got like five options of, okay, well, so what's your first thing? What's your first item? Is it an image? Is it a link? Is it a video? Most of these, when you click on them, it wants a link
Yeah.
to something. So if it's a video, it wants a link to the video, which means that you've already created that video.
Right.
So it may be on YouTube, it may be on Vimeo, it can be on
Uh-huh.
all those video
It just
sites.
can't be directly from your computer because they want a link from it, not an
Yeah,
upload.
they want to link to
Yeah.
most of these. So just like if it says link, so this is where I said, once you create, so what I do is I create some posts or articles on my business page, and then I can click on, hey, here's some cool articles, click on links, and put the link from my article, my post in there.
Right.
So it's kind of a display of links, but you can put a whole bunch of text in there too.
Right. Great.
So
Good. So I'm definitely going to be trying it out. I don't know about the Google business of whether I'm going to go down that frustration or not.
yeah,
I think, I don't know whether the benefits are kind of worth it. I don't know. I think some people will have to kind of share on this. If you're listening to this and you are on Google Business, please comment and let them know and say if it has actually helped your business to be on there or not.
the answer should be yes. I have a friend who apparently I espoused some words of wisdom down under like a few months ago, and Glenn said, "Yeah, I just did what you said, and I got three new clients immediately, like within a day." I said, "Okay, okay, Glenn, what the hell? Can you tell me what the hell I said?
Yeah, exactly.
What
So
what
I'll
the
repeat
can
it.
you
Yeah.
kind of tell me what just come on, share me what the hell did I say? Because I come on, really? Three new clients and he's been gone and his business apparently even took off from there
Mm.
because some of those it was kind of a chain of that, they got his services, he did such a great job, and then he got like three other referrals, and I'm going, okay, I
Or
wish
maybe
you
it's
would have
worthwhile giving it a try
taken
again, but
take
you know,
notes on what I said, but
yeah,
a lot of it is letting people know, and it still comes down to even in the newsletter, or I mean, it's knowing what words are trending,
right.
knowing what terms, use what people are looking for, because then it comes because that Google thing
Yes. Picks up on
picks
those
it up.
words. Yeah.
Or even Yahoo, or even Bing, some of those
Yeah.
places, they're still gonna, because on your website, this that it just comes up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And just understand that all of these platforms is where your business lies. This is your networking. This is your clientele. So, as you would give them time in the old days, meet for coffee. If you could still do that, great. But if not, you give them time, and many a time I'll meet somebody for the social medias. Can we have a chat? Set up a chat on Zoom or Facebook or Messenger or
yeah,
whatever. Get to know each other because ultimately we don't want to just be a number. We want to be a person that's seen and heard and be supportive of each other because that really is where the whole messages of the universe at the present moment is humans, please support each other in
yeah.
everything that you do. So, how do people get hold of you and what are you offering them?
Well, so the best way to get a hold of me is to send me an email.
Hmm.
And it's just Paul at PMV Production. So that's P like Paul, M like Mike, V like Victor Productions with an S.com. So Paul PMV Productions. If you will put in the subject, how about you put in the subject Sarah Troy interview, or Sarah Troy program, or self-discovery, something that'll set you aside from all the other
Right.
emails that I get, and you'll stand out. And so that's the best way to get there. And then if you go to if you go to, well, I'm on LinkedIn, so if you look at my name,
Let's spell it
another
for
one,
the people who are just listening.
it's Paul, and then V like Victor, Alach, so Paul Valach. And so I'm on LinkedIn there, and Facebook also, same name. And that those are the
Instagram.
I'm also on Instagram, yes, so same name, on Instagram. Those are the ones that I check the most often. Probably LinkedIn I check the most. Facebook also comes through, flying through, and obviously LinkedIn.
Right.
So those are the two biggies, and I think that's really the key. And I've got paulvalach.com, which is my name, although I'm reworking that a little bit, trying to get the interface down. So with the LinkedIn newsletter has really kind of taken over
Right.
my
Right.
my thing there of communicating with people. Those are the biggies.
And you're offering a free Google business page review for the first
Yeah,
five
so I will
folks.
I will be happy to review anybody's Google business page review. Taking a look and just seeing how you got, what you got. And just if you send me a email, I will send you a link. I've got a number of people who want to do that with, and so I'm trying to figure out how to schedule that appropriately or efficiently, and also by that I mean also timely, so that if something that somebody wants to, like, hey, I need that now,
Mm,
we can get that done in a very short period of time,
wonderful.
and
Thanks
we'll
for
take a look.
sharing with you. Thanks for sharing with us here today. Really,
You bet.
social media, I mean, it gets a bad rap. In some cases, very justified, but it's also become our way of life. It's become our way of interacting with each other, our way of doing business. Things are always changing. That could be a very great benefit to our business, but it's just a question of how we use it, where we use it, what manner that we use it in, and very often just how the hell do we use it? So,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
so they
Yeah.
can reach out to you for that. And if it's just like, this sounds only great, but I've been to these buttons and they don't work, then they reach out to Paul, and Paul will help you navigate through it.
We'll make those buttons work.
Yes, yes, because I know how frustrating they can be, you know?
That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you for reaching out, and this was fun. This was good, and hopefully provided some good information for people, and they'll be resourceful and make those millions of dollars, right? That we're all supposed to be making off the social media
Right,
stuff.
exactly, exactly.
Or get you one more follower. Hey, how about that?
Exactly. You know, whatever it is, it's all about moving forward. Whether it's one step or a leap, it's about moving forward, and it's having the right tools to get you there with the right support, the people behind you. And we want everyone to succeed because that's what it's about. That's what makes the
Absolutely.
world a better place. But it's always to remember, folks, come from the heart. The money will
There you
come
go.
if the heart intent is there. So thanks so much, Paul.
Yep.
Until next time, folks. Bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Find all of our shows on selfdiscoverymedia.com under podcasts or selfdiscoverymedia/shows. And for all our current shows, go to What's New. We are supported by you, the audience. You'll see a nice big shiny blue button for one-time donations, or follow us on Patreon and you will be able to support us there. We enjoy bringing you such wisdom. And the next show will be up in just a moment.